I don't know about you, but I am always and forever looking for ways to save or slow down my rate of spending at the grocery store. What can I do about this? Let's talk about this. Back in a minute. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on my channel, the Save Money and More channel with Jan channel. How you doing today? Hope everybody listening is doing well. Let's jump right into it. How can we reduce some of our expenses at the grocery store? How can we stretch it? Well, one of the ways that we definitely could stretch it is to slow down the rate of how we use the products that we purchase. I don't know about you. Have you ever noticed how people use so much extra of things? Things, for example, like this bothers me personally when I watch it. People that use gallons and gallons and gallons of oil so fast during the a month. It's like, wow, do you really have to use that much oil, for example? Honestly, I do if I fry, which is really not too often, but when I do, it's always a shallow fry, just a couple of turns of the pan on the oil. Oil is expensive. Excuse me, even the so-called lesser grade qualities of oil can really, really run up the bill. So maybe start using a little less of it. I don't know. I don't know. Do meals certainly really need so much oil in the recipe? In my opinion, probably not. But that's my opinion. And I do think that people use way too much oil. Oil is not cheap. Excuse me, please. Butter. Let's talk about butter. Butter can be really expensive. Usually, excuse my throat. Usually, this time of the year is the best time to get butter. Usually, not guaranteeing that. Depends on where you are, and I'm not saying it's all over the place, but usually that's the time to stock up and save. But when you do have butter, use it as the necessary part of, let's say, a certain recipe requires, like in baking, certain things, certain fats, and you go along with that and use that as a spread. Let's say on your toast or anything. But I don't use that, for example, to grease a pan. To grease a pan, I'm not going to use butter. I rather use it where I believe it is needed in a recipe or as a spread. But that is me. Speaking of oil, you think you're going to get away with it by using the spray can of oil, right? Those non-stick sprays. I do keep that on hand. I do. I don't use them every minute. There are propellants in there, so I'm not fond of that. That's me again, me. Another way to save would be to buy one of those pumps where you put your own oil that you enjoy and you put it in there and spray using that as a spray. So that's always a great idea. Again, you're slowing down the use, you're slowing down the rate of an expensive item. Next, how many times do you go in the shower, you see like bottles and bottles of half empty or one third left or whatever of shampoo just laying around taking up precious real estate on your bathroom shelf, right in your shower, for example, the shower stand. And you're like, well, wait a minute, why do I have like 5 bottles of little bits here and little bits there of the shampoo or the conditioner? Water it down, clean it out, get rid of it, and utilize every drop. You paid for it. You must like the product. You bought it already. I'm thinking. If you're unhappy with the product, that's another story. But still, maybe find another use for it if you don't like to use it on your hair or whatever. But be careful about all those little leftover bottles of stuff, or just consolidate. If it's all shampoo, in my opinion, I don't believe it would hurt to just consolidate all the shampoos in one bottle and just at least save some space too and utilize it. You bought this already. May as well use up what you bought. And that's the real thing. Use up what you bought. You paid for it already. And it slows down the rate of you using or needing to buy some more so soon. Think about that. Next, use less expensive brands of breads. Now, loaves of breads, okay, can run anywhere from the sublime, literally, to the ridiculous, okay? in my opinion, again, in my opinion, do little kids really notice the difference between highly expensive artisan breads as opposed to a basic slice of whole wheat or basic slice of white bread? I personally don't think so. That's my thought. But the price of bread, kids or not, the price of bread, like I said, runs anywhere from the sublime to the ridiculous. You know your budget, you know what works. I have seen breads even as little as $2.19 right here in the New York area. Now, for me to say that in the New York area, that's a pretty big thing to say because things are generally higher around here for sure and for true. So to buy a loaf of white sliced bread for $2.19 at the end of 2024, the time of this recording, this is November of 2024, to pay for a price of bread like that, just basic, to me is amazing. So look carefully for that. There are choices. Yeah, you need bread. Okay, you want bread. I get that. We all do. However, look carefully at the prices and make the decisions. Get the ones that you love on sale. And if it's not on sale, in my opinion, basic breads will still do the trick if you want to slap a sandwich together. Just saying, just saying. All right, next, shop well. Yep, shop well, but shop less frequently. Shop less frequently. Why? To save time, energy, effort, gas, and energy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Try to consolidate your grocery shopping trips. In fact, try to combine many of your errands on a 1 day trip going around like once a week, like just going around to where you have to go instead of very frequent trips, unless you enjoy walking there or you have no trouble affording, all the trips to the store with the gas, whatever. It's all dependent. But if you're on like a tight budget, and who isn't these days, and especially with the holidays looming, any way you could, save here, save there, or save anywhere is not a bad thing in my opinion. All right, next. Here's what we don't do enough. This is something we do not do enough and we need to increase doing. And I mentioned it not long ago on a recent video. Utilize your free apps to the max. I'll give you an example. I use an editing software, okay? There's a free version and there's a paid version. And I use an editing software. I have used this editing software on and off for the last 6.5 years in order to work with my videos, okay? I'm just saying. Now, even the video that you're watching now on a different software app, okay? If this is cloud-based, the one that you're looking at, the little duck in the corner, because I live with that little duck in the corner, I don't have to pay a thin dime to use it. I used to pay for it, but their prices went up significantly. And by paying for it, there was no duck in the window, if you recall in the past. But I could live with that little duck for free. Take advantage of free apps whenever you can. Okay. So if there are apps that cost money, but then you find out later on you're not really using all those extra bells and whistles, why are you paying for it? This is where money flies out the window, just like a duck. No, I'm just saying. So utilize free apps to the max. And like I mentioned about my editing software, there's another software that when I make sometimes those intros, like for example, the intros with the music and all that, and I use that app, that's absolutely for free. If I want to go on for the paid version, I could go on for the paid version. But why should I if I get what I need to do on the free app? You'll be surprised and amazed how much a little savings here and there could do. Using those free apps is helpful. On your own phone, for example, don't forget to use the calculator app for in-person shopping to avoid that you don't like this sticker shock sometimes at the cash register. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't it nice to know ahead of time what to anticipate? And by the way, by knowing ahead of time before you get to the checkout at the grocery store, if you see a big discrepancy in the price because you already calculated it and you see another number come up at the register, that's a red flag. Say, to the person that's working there, they maybe somehow calculated a mistake somehow or whatever, and it's a red flag. Then you could talk about, say, well, that's not what I got, for example, if you are diligent and paying strict attention to entering the correct numbers on your calculator. That is a very helpful way to calculate your grocery budget. By the way, do you have a grocery budget? I have a lot of people that say, well, that they wing it. There's nothing wrong with winging it. If your head is above the water, you're living within your means. And don't get me wrong, I think that budgets are a great guideline. Okay. I use them as like a guideline to keep track of. And also, I like to predict things in the, recent, well, not recent, I shouldn't say recent, in the future, just ahead, not so distant future ahead, because recent means past, slightly past, as you know. All right. So next, take advantage of any, this is a bonus one, take advantage of any discounts of things that you need when possible. If you know that your family more than likely will be using bathroom tissue, the kind that your family always buys, and you find a discount of some sort by buying it in bulk, do the math. Again, good old calculator really works out. Do the math and see if you save. I know, for example, without fail, that two of a certain kind of the best quality bathroom tissue, not the one that ruins your plumbing, get the other one. The one that says 1,000 sheet, okay? And I believe that it's one ply. I always mix up the plies. The one with the less plies. The ones with all the plies seem to be the ones that ruin people's bathrooms. But anyway, uh, take advantage of any discount on your favorite bathroom tissue. All right, and apply it. Do the math because I know for a fact how much rate that is used in this household, and that's what I purchase. And there you go from there. There are ways and there are ways. We have to choose the way we want to stretch our grocery budget. The grocery is not just including people food, it includes pet food as well. It includes things other than edibles. It includes things like health and beauty aids. Where can you save? Are you using up the health and beauty aids that you need? Is it time to replenish some of your health and beauty aids that may be going stale and or expired? That's important too. Every now and then, you really need to check those things out. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate your time. But please do not forget to do the following. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your lovely family.